Hey everyone, this is Michael from TacToys, and in this video I'm going to show you how to remove the slide and do maintenance on your TacToys gas blowback pistol. First of all, we have two pistols here that look really similar, but they're both different models. We have the Scorpion X, which uses an XTP lower, and then we have the Scorpion ACP, which uses the ACP lower, which is more like your classic Glock 17 style lower. To remove the slide, it's a different process on any blaster that has an XTP lower or an ACP lower. So first we'll start with the XTP. First of all, we have to make sure the magazine is not inside the blaster, and to remove the slide on an XTP lower, we have to pop this little pin out. We recommend that you don't use something with a metal surface, such as an Allen key, because it can actually scratch the surface of the pin. In this scenario, I'm actually going to use the back of a pen lid. So I just need to apply pressure on that pin and press, and the pin will actually come out. It won't fully come out of the blaster, it does stop there. What we need to do now with the pin actually slid out is rack back the slide, pull it forward, and the entire slide will come off. So to perform maintenance and lubrication, I'm going to show you how to remove some of the internal components of your slide. So first of all, the recoil spring will just pop out, and your inner and your outer barrel will slide out as well. We just need to slide them forward and then pull them back. And this is about as much as you need to take out just to perform your basic maintenance after you shoot about 5 magazines or so. The most common lubricants used with a gas blowback pistol is generally silicone oil. And it's best to have two kinds, a thicker silicone oil and a lighter silicone oil. The thicker oil is generally used for your metal on metal contact, and the thinner oil is really good for your feeding nozzle, as well as any kind of O-rings or the exhaust valve on the magazine. Another lubricant that works really well is this Firearms Lubricant, which is used on a lot of air guns and air pistols, and I find that it provides incredibly smooth action for the slide. This is a synthetic oil, so this doesn't actually swell O-rings or cause them to deteriorate, but just on the safe side, we're still going to use silicone oil on any kind of part that still may have a rubber seal in it. First of all, with your feeding nozzle, we're going to just put a little bit of silicone oil just here, pull back the feeding nozzle, and just put a little bit around the piston as well. This will ensure that it's got really smooth movement when the pistol's actually cycling. Next, I'm going to use Firearms Lubricant in this case. We have channels inside the slide, which obviously make contact with your guide rails on your lower receiver. So what I like to do is put a drop in these channels and just let it run down. So the other part that's metal on metal contact with your slide is actually the top of the outer barrel, because this is going to move back and forward against this top part of your slide just here. So what we're going to do is just put a drop of the Firearms Lubricant there. And what I recommend as well is just putting a coating on your outer barrel too. You can also do this with silicone oil. And now we're just going to insert the inner barrel. Now you can also install your recoil rod and spring. So we have to push that back, let it rest against the barrel holder. Next, the hammer unit is going to run over these portions on the slide as well, so it's good to just get a drop along all of those contact points. You can do this with a thicker silicone oil as well. Like I said, I'm just going to use the Firearms Lubricant because this is my preferred lubricant. Now we can set our slide aside, and we have the lower. With the lower, we just want a single drop on the guide rails here. Just a drop on the hammer unit, again because the slide is going to move back over this, and just a drop on the top of the guide rails as well. Now we can just take our slide, line it up, push your pin in, With the ACP, we have two slide releases on either side of the gas blowback pistol. And to remove the slide, it's a very easy process as well. We just need to pull down on both these slide releases, rack the slide back, push it forward, and the top will come off as well. You would lubricate all the same places as you would on the XTP lower, and it's exactly the same disassembly process, just the XTP has some slightly different components. All of the TacToys pistols do come with grease applied from the factory, and grease is a great protectant, but everyone has different preferences. I prefer using silicone oil and firearms lubricant, because grease can actually pick up little bits of metal debris from the metal on metal contact and basically start to wear away some components. It still comes down to personal preference. Grease is a fine lubricant, but I find that for less friction, the silicone oil and the firearms lubricant is far superior. So this just has the stock grease. You can see it on the hammer unit and on the rails. And I'm just going to pop the slide back on again. The one thing I want to show you is the difference in lubrication from just a stock factory greasing to when you've actually properly applied silicone oil or a firearms lubricant. We can see that it's rougher action when the slide is actually moving back and forth. Versus the pistol that we've just applied firearms lube and silicone oil to. It's a much smoother action. It's not catching when the barrel is dropping. All the components are getting really good lubrication on the metal on metal contact. And that's how you basically remove your slide on your XTP or your ACP lower and where to apply silicone oil.